Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Cape Rugby TV, where of course on a weekly basis we take a look at what's happening in the world of club rugby. And of course big thanks to our partners on board with us, Score Energy Drinks. You can of course win yourself a case of Score during the course of the show, and M-Chem 24-hour pharmacy on the corner of N1 and Durban Road. I'm JP Nordia, I'm your host, and tonight we take a look at what's happening in club rugby as well as the under-20s, and of course we'll catch up with Western Province Rugby. So we'll find out firsthand about the big new announcement that clubs are allowed to be training again, and that's very exciting. To tell us more about that, we'll speak to Faisal Felton from Western Province Rugby. We'll catch up with Jonathan van der Walt, who has in fact at False Bay Rugby Football Club managed to keep their players active, and of course now with the training return, even more engaged. We'll speak to Jerome Parvata, the DHL Western Province Rugby under-20 side. Will start their Currie Cup campaign next week, and the Currie Cup starts this weekend. We catch up with some of the players, and they of course had a run against the academy last week. But on the line with me now, it's a special occasion, great opportunity for us. Catch up with the head coach of the DHL Western Province Rugby side, John Dobson. Dobbo, welcome back. Nice to see you again. How are you, man?
Very well yourself. Thanks for having me, JP. Nice. Thanks for keeping this going in these tough times.
Few months since we spoke to you last. I think the last we were speaking about the dynamics of playing in an empty stadium, and you were telling us stories about how even the bench is now bringing the extra man to the team.
Yeah.
How are the dynamics playing out of playing in an empty stadium?
Yeah, it's much the same. Except I suppose now we're used to it. I mean, I think a crowd now would throw the guys completely. It's you hear as I said to you last time, every breath, you hear every swear word. But the bench becomes really important. You see in every game you watch on TV now, the benches are forming tunnels, they're whooping. It's the only thing the camera can pan to is the bench. So, yeah, but I think the guys are much more used to it. I think a crowd's even forgotten now. You know, it's going to be really strange when people start coming again.
It's been very hot and cold. I mean, the last 18 months of playing in stadiums that you can't predict, moving from one stadium to another stadium. COVID pops up in one province and then things are disrupted again. Are the players adjusting to that? I mean, I can imagine that must just be impossibly difficult for any coach to find some sort of stability.
Yeah, Jay, you're spot on. I mean, it's really odd. We've had, even in this latest Currie Cup, I think all the competitions are sort of merged, you know. Super Rugby Unlocked became Currie Cup, became Preparation Series, became Rainbow Cup, became Currie Cup. And I understand the need for inventory. You know, games are cancelled through COVID. Times are fixed. We have to lock into a buyer bubble. You know, the Lions game, we didn't know if it was on until the morning of the game. Our Griquas game, we didn't know if it's on. We were locked up for almost 13 days. I think guys just get used to it and understand that it's just important for the sport and then what takes place. But I do think the stress levels and the uncertainty and the inability to train properly is having an effect on performance. There's no question. I mean, I think what we saw in that last Currie Cup, that was a poor product. With all the kicking. But I think, we played the British and Irish Lions without being able to scrum for 2 weeks. It's not ideal. It can sound like an excuse. Everybody's in the same boat. But I just think it's a poor. It's not the best product, but it's just great that it's happening. If that makes sense. I think the players largely accept whatever it takes to play. They wear it, and they become very sort of resilient.
How was that? How was that match against the British and Irish Lions? I mean, from us, our perspective, it was just fantastic to see you guys on the park, and it was just great to be watching rugby.
Yeah, I think that's one of it was a great experience. I mean, after the game, I sort of gave my players quite a bit of time afterwards to sort of mix and say thank you, and they swapped jerseys and all that. And when I got into our change room, I didn't realize how big it was for our players, because I looked around and I said, who am I talking to? Because every bloke was in a red jersey, 1 to 23. They'd all swapped. It wasn't quite like the old days where would have been two bitter rivals. This was guys playing against the guys I'd seen on TV, a great occasion after all we've been through. It was so precious. The guys are all framing their Lions jerseys. It was amazing. It was just so sad that there was no fan walk, and all that. We all know that cliche, but jeepers, the blokes enjoyed that. It was tough because we'd been locked up, we couldn't train, and we weren't sure if the game was going ahead. But at the end of the day, it was just a very, very special experience. I think we felt very, very privileged. I think what is tough is because we as the public, like if I watch rugby, I want to engage in it like I always did. You know what I mean? That was a poor game. Province are playing well. The Lions are great. The Springboks are this. But I don't think we always appreciate what's going on behind the scenes that's affecting the sort of morale of the players. But that turned out to be a highlight.
You've got two sides to the coin at the moment at Western Province. You've got a couple of players playing for the Springboks at the moment, so you've got a couple of your hometown boys not with you, but at the same time you've also got quite a few young guys coming through the ranks and playing for Province. I mean, I was looking at the game on Saturday, and I think they said that the hooker is 19 years old.
Yeah, we had, I think on the game against Bulls, we had 3 19-year-olds. It's both good and bad, Jay, because I mean, as you know yourself, more than probably most people, that the Cape is Currie Cup country. That's something we pride ourselves in. It's not going to change, and it makes us proud. But the reality is, we do have about, if they're throwing the sevens, usually about 10 or 11 players on national causes, and we also have to play a United Rugby Championship that starts on the 25th of September, and we can't do, and it's going to be the same team because the Springboks aren't going to play the start of United Rugby Championship. So I have to blood youngsters. Otherwise, we're going to find ourselves in a hell of a like old Mother Hubbard. But at the same time, we want to do well in the Currie Cup, and it's very much a balancing act. I can play Neetling for sure each and every game, or play Evan Roos has become this great number 8. We're all excited about every single game. But if I don't blood the next guy or the other guys, we're going to get caught short. But we're still going to do well in the Currie Cup. So I think we're doing well, staying alive in the Currie Cup and blooding youngsters. Obviously, would like 1 or 2 more results to go our way, but I have to be disciplined that Sazi Sunday gets a game, that Lee Marvin Mazabuka can play, because when I need him in the big competition that's going to judge our future is the United Rugby Championship. When we're playing Munster, Cape Town Stadium, and crowds allowed back, we have to be a good competitive team then. That's probably more important, without being disparaging, than Griquas away in the Currie Cup right now.
You've got management structures there, Rito Klongwane, and of course Labib Levy and Davy Snyman, all guys that have got some sort of touch point with most of your players, especially with some of the youngsters there. When they see the guys, are they able to sort of immediately say hello, knowing them? Obviously they've been working with them for months now, but I mean, is there a sort of a camaraderie there from I brought you through the ranks?
Look, one thing I'm proud of, you like as a champion of club rugby, is that every one of our coaching staff has coached at club and or school level in the Western, and that's really important that guys can see. So you did right, Labib's coached at Collegians, he's coached SK Warmers, he's coached Province under 21. He knows all these kids and all their background. I think you've had Rito on the show. Rito, to me, is one of the golden nuggets of South African coaching. I think this guy's going to be fantastic. He's coached Primrose, he's coached Villages, he's played Western Province. So the more we can understand this region and create this, and people can be visibly seen to come through the coaching pathway as well as the playing pathway, it's important. But you're right, those guys know. If I say to Rita, have you seen this number 8, Ruan Lopes? Oh, yes, we had him at the Institute, or had him at the 19s. It's one, and that's the great side of Western Province. Not one of these guys doesn't live. We haven't gone and calling coaches from New Zealand or from Kenya, or these are all local guys who understand the fabric here.
Yeah, and Dobber, to add to that, of course, Labib and Davi and Rito have all been working with Jerome Parvati to bring some of the high performance stuff that you guys do at a professional level, bringing that to the clubs. And I've been privileged enough to be able to sit in 1 or 2 of those sessions, and that's really fantastic to see how you guys are sharing your professional skills and that inside knowledge with the clubs.
Yeah, one thing I want to say, I mean, one of the most frustrating things about this period is that we haven't been able to call on club players, because that pathway is so important to us, but just because they haven't been playing, because there have been so many more opportunities with our crazy fixture list and the demands on the senior team and this cap on squad size. We could have actually used more players from the club system, but they weren't physically and that sort of thing ready. But as soon as the club starts, that needs to be accelerated again. But I want to say to you, if there's any club coach in the whole province wants to come and spend some time with us at the Stormers or Western Province and just see what we're doing, I think they might teach us more than we know. But I'd like to make an offer via this channel, James. If anybody wants to come, because I think information sharing and some spirit of collaboration during this crazy time is important. So, the more we can get that connection back again, the better for the rugby in this region. So if anybody wants to come and join us or chat to us or come watch sessions or attend meetings, they're very, very welcome.
Yeah, folks, unfortunately, we just lost Dobber there. John Dobson, of course, head coach of the DHL Western Province Currie Cup side. And great to see that it's so positive, at least amongst the players, and so many different experiences there. And what an offer from the head coach of the DHL Western Province rugby side, that if any club coaches want to communicate with him directly or experience any of the professional setup, that those doors are open. That's a really incredible offer from the professional circuit. Folks, we'll take an ad break. When we come back from the break, we'll carry on talking about what's happening in the world of club rugby. Back in a sec. Welcome back, everybody. It's, of course, Cape Rugby TV, and it's currently great news in the world of club rugby, of course, as the news is now out that the clubs are allowed to return to training. Well, of course, as you know, over the last few weeks, we've been following the progress of the under-20s as they prepare for the upcoming Currie Cup. It is now here, finally. The Currie Cup for the under-20s starts this weekend. Western Province has got a bye on the first opening match, and then take on the Leopards in next week's first game. This past week, the players went out to Stellenbosch, where they played against the Western Province Rugby Academy, and as usual, we catch up with some of the players behind the scenes at Brookside.
It's definitely nice to have the guys back. A lot of people in the Varsity Cup setup, junior box setup, so it's nice to have a whole group here, especially just to kind of develop the chemistry amongst the guys and just to kind of play a good brand of rugby at the end of the day. It is definitely tough. It just kind of shows the potential that we have in the VP rugby industry. Just having all the guys here, it's always great. Always kind of pushes you, especially in the gym sessions, on the field. It just kind of pushes you to really do your best through each and every session. Yeah, it's exciting now that the competition's also close by. We're a bit scrappy on Friday, but we definitely could identify the things that we needed to kind of correct in order to make sure that we play a good brand of rugby in the competition. Yeah, I think the build-up, I think we're seeing that we trained for the last couple of months. It's definitely getting more exciting. The guys, you can see kind of the atmosphere at the training, the smiles on the faces. The guys are really looking forward to it.
Wel, ek het nog nooit regtig Currie gespeel op skool hier. Of ek het nie Currie gespeel op skool hier, so is ek opgewonde. So, it's 'n groot achievement. So ek is nog eens bly ja. Ons preseason het al begin in laas jaar September, so is 'n hele tydjie. Kom al coach Paul Troos, 'n goeie coach. Kom baie details wat ek nooit geweet het nie, wat ek aangeleer het en wat ek nou moet toepas. So ja, is baie verskillend en baie moeiliker as het onder 20 en hoërskool rugby, maar ja, ek geniet dit. Ja, we om ons lywe gewoon te kry om al in die nuwe structures wat ons hier speel, om 'n bietjie gewoon te raak aan jou lyf en hoe om te speel, wat waar te doen. So ja, dit is ook 'n bietjie aanpas hierso, maar is niks te erg nie.
Yeah, no, it's a good feeling. We've had a few practice games and things are starting to come together, so it feels good just to be here again. And yeah, no, definitely, I think we needed to get those opportunities to just work on the physicality as a team. I mean, we're going to go into like a tough competition, playing like teams like the Bulls, the Lions, very physical teams, and that just helped us to work on our physicality as a team. So I think we just benefited from that. Yeah, no, I think it's only beneficial. Like I said before, competition is what we strive for. That helps us to get better. Iron sharpens iron, and that's what we're seeing here. Also with the depth, if we have injuries or anything, it's always good to know that the next guy can step up and fill that spot. So yeah. Good run out for the boys as well. I think we saw a lot of positives and negatives, things we can work on in the video session, and it's good for us. No, it's very excited. I think the boys are very excited to just show what we can do. I mean, it's been so long since we've played like proper games, and it's exciting. It's exciting times.
it was a massive, when we first started out, it was probably about 20 of us, and now it's about 50 of us. So no, it does, it builds that camaraderie, and it just makes you fight for your position even harder. So yeah, I think it brings out the best in all the boys, and I know that we wouldn't want to have it any other way other than having the competition here. We've got boys coming through from the SA camp that are all back now, so everyone is fighting, and it's not, I don't look at it as a competition thing, it's more you learn from each other, and we just bring out the best in each other. So whoever's the best in the day gets picked, and then yeah. No, yeah, definitely. I think that's our forwards. We're lucky to have a big pack of forwards, and the physicality that we got from the Boerland team that we played was a very physical game, and then also all our other practice matches have also been very physical. So it's prepped us for this tournament, and yeah, hopefully we can pull through. It was a good game. It was a bit scrappy in the beginning, but I think it was good just to get a little flush out, to get a feel of how it is actually still play, and to build some more, like there's some partnerships that we haven't really played with each other before. So it was good to get out there and have a go. We've been working since February, I think now. So to actually know that, okay, now next week competition starts, and that's all our hard work is hopefully going to pay off, and we can really go out and show what we're about. We couldn't ask for anything better than the coaching staff that we have. I mean, they've all been through this, they've all had the experiences. So for them, they're just now helping us and showing what they can put into us, so that we can put it out on the field.
Here we go. Thank you.
It was a massive improvement, should I say. There's so many more guys coming in from obviously their varsity cup, their respective teams, some from the SA under 20 side. So it was great experience, and it's always nice getting back to know. I knew a few of the guys obviously from Craven Week, so it's nice seeing them again and getting back in the training and in the swing of things with the full squad now. It's very nice. I mean, I felt the physicality jump. There was definitely a massive increase in the physicality and the age level. I mean, you can see, but I know I'm always up for the pressure, and when there's a bigger stake, shall I say, or a tougher opposition, I always like the pressure. So I enjoyed it a lot, and it's always nice to test yourselves against older and better players.
Great to see our under 20 so excited for the upcoming Currie Cup, and of course that now starting of course this coming weekend, and then of course our Western Province side taking on the Leopards in their first match. So great to see our players coming through the ranks and finally now getting the ball rolling. Right folks, well of course as you know on a weekly basis we take a look at what's happening at MChem 24-hour pharmacy, and of course as you know it's very important that you get a grip on the flu season, and if you speak to any of the experts at MChem 24-hour pharmacy, they'll tell you that the World Health Organization strongly supports the administration of flu vaccinations, especially during the time of the COVID-19 pandemic, and that preventing and reducing the severity of the illness associated with flu will ease the burden on patients and the country's healthcare system. And of course we all know how important that is. Department of Health working very hard, and the more we can contribute to reducing the pressure and the burden, the better for everybody. And of course you can get your flu vaccine at MChem 24-hour pharmacy clinics from 8 a.m. in the morning until 8 p.m. in the evening every day of the week. That's of course Monday to Sunday, and the absolute big bonus there is that there is no appointment needed. You can just simply walk in and speak to any one of the nursing sisters and say that you want to get your flu vaccination. MChem 24-hour pharmacy is always open just for you. We'll take an ad break. When we come back from the break, we carry on taking a look at what's happening in the world of club rugby. Back in a sec. Welcome back, folks. It's of course Cape Rugby TV. We carry on talking about club rugby, and of course For those of you that have just joined us, well, the big news is now that clubs are allowed to be training again. But of course, behind the scenes, we know that a lot of clubs have, of course, been active with their members. Jono van der Walt, False Bay head coach, joins me back on the line. Jono, nice to have you back. How are things there?
How's it, JP? Thanks for having me again, man. It's lekker.
Yeah, no, it's always good to catch up with you. We know that you guys are staying busy and staying active. 18 months of making sure that the members are continuously engaged with. And I think from our side, it's been one of the one of the great ways to find out what guys are up to. So, of course, you guys have been doing that. Just a quick recap: 18 months, not the fixtures now, but 18 months. You've been staying engaged with the members.
Yes, JP, we were actually just talking about it last week. We've been going for 17, 18 months, pretty much non-stop, barring the hard lockdowns, and we found ourselves in another 2 to 4 week lockdown, which the first 2 weeks went very slowly, and the next 2 weeks went quickly. But it's opened up again, and our guys are back, and we're in the forest, we're on the beach, we're in the road, we're running, we're keeping active. We might not necessarily have rugby balls in our hands just yet, but we're certainly making sure that we're fit and healthy. And that should rugby return at any point in time, be it this year or next year, then we'll just make sure that mentally and physically we're basically ready to play.
But Jono, you've also adopted the approach that that keeping the club active is important for your membership. It's you've adopted the approach that it's more than just game time, that you have to be able to be there for your members.
Yes, JP, again, we must ask yourself, what is a rugby club, and what is a rugby club to us, or to you as a player, to you as an administrator, to you as a coach, to you as a club and to a committee member. You must understand that all of us love to come there because it's a community. We love bringing our friends, family and kids there. So it's not just about playing rugby, playing in a league, winning competitions or not, or trying to just do rugby all of the time. It's a place where we can play touch, where we can get fit, where we can bring your kids, your dogs on, whatever the case may be. But we must keep it moving, because without our players, without the club members, there is no club. We might as well just shut our doors and carry on with our own lives. So it's very important for us, especially as coaches and administrators of our clubs, to keep our members fully engaged and active and keep them connected.
And is that, obviously it is, but have you been able to, we know that when we talk about being active, you haven't only done field activities, you've done other external gym activities, you've done social media activities. How important is that for your sponsors?
For sponsors, it's extremely important, because a lot of sponsors, of course, they want to see you playing rugby, they want to see their name and their brand out there, but it's just as important to see that if you're a club that connects with its community, if you're looking after not just your members, but members' families and friends and everyone else, and again, living a fit and healthy lifestyle is extremely important, especially if you get ill, so that you can fight whatever viruses that we have at the present.
We've got different divisions at False Bay. Of course, now the announcement is out. You guys are allowed to train again. You've got seniors, juniors, women's rugby, quite a few different segments there.
JP, again, we're very blessed. And with that comes its own challenges, because as you know, we'll have a first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth team, under 20s, A's, B's, a women's side and a jocks and a croc side as well. So it's many members there, which does come with its own set of challenges, mainly field space, because there's so many teams with very little field, and we have to get very inventive, and we have to think out of the box in terms of what we do. Do we take guys to a gym off-site? Do we take guys into the forest, on the beach, wherever the case may be? Because we also do know that nobody has money in this day and age to keep it going. But you must make do with the resources you have, and if you have very little or no money, you must still make a plan to make sure that you can keep fit and healthy.
So how do you do that, Jono? It's easy to say it, or should we say the old expression, easier said than done, and a lot of people will be watching the show right now and saying that, and saying easier said than done. But you seem to have a management team around your group that you're able to communicate and plan with.
JP, it is so easy to be negative, and believe me, in our own club, we do have some negative people. We have some people that said we should have closed our doors for the last 2 years and just open up whenever. But unfortunately, I don't think many clubs will be able to reopen their doors. And if they do, they will struggle with members and with club rugby players. And it will take them a long time to get a first, second, thirds and under 20s team going if they remain dormant and closed. What we have to do is, again, if gyms are closed, There's no kind of effort getting a WhatsApp group going, making sure that you can meet at a certain place to go and train, to go and run. You don't have to be all on top of each other. You can do it in groups. You can go in groups of 4 or 5, forwards, backs. Make sure that you're training. You can get to the beach. You can get to the forest or the field. There's so many ways, body weight exercises, movements, and stuff that one can do. You just need to put in the time and the effort and make sure that you build that type of a culture.
So do you guys just know your players and members really well, or do you survey them and ask them, okay, do you want to go for a run or do you want to go play tennis?
Again, JP, I think it just it starts somewhere. And where does it start? It starts with players, and it starts with them wanting to train because they want to be fit and they want to be healthy. Guys definitely see a change in their body, and they see a change in themselves when they're fit and they're healthy. And that starts to rub off on one another, and the environment becomes very competitive. So when guys start to see that they want to be better, faster, quicker, even the props, believe it or not, they do want to be a little bit quicker and get around a little bit more. They like to lose a little bit of that body fat. And by having like-minded individuals around them, it just pushes them. We all have to go to work. We all have families, etc., etc. But the common thing is we're there because we all love rugby. And at the same time, we just enjoy the banter and being around each other.
So have you guys now that the announcement has been made, going forward, have you guys got a training schedule? This is my last question. So do the guys now, have you notified them training Tuesdays, Fridays, whatever? Is there a schedule for them now?
Correct, yes. We will resume with field sessions for our second, third and reserve league teams, as well as under 20s and ladies, on a Tuesday and Thursday evening from 6:15 till 8 o'clock. And our first team squad will be training in the gym on a Tuesday night, and we will return to the field with some fitness and some skills on a Thursday. And if we're allowed to play friendlies, then we'll have a look at that. If not, we will just stay fit until such time as we feel the need. We just feel that, we've gone 17, 18 months. Why should we stop? Because we've gained so much momentum. And if it takes us into the new year and we play rugby, you must remember COVID and the situation isn't going to go away. So the quicker we get used to living with it and its protocols and everything that comes with it, the better off that we're going to be. So we just believe that our thought process is we always walk the walk, talk the talk, as we say. So that's what we will do. So we will continue and remain to try and be as fit as we can.
Jono van der Walt, still, it is fantastic to chat with you. And as you guys have always said, too much gees. Clearly, this is still the problem at False Bay. You have too much gees.
Again, JP, sometimes you have to find something to be positive about. And one thing that False Bay does have in abundance is gees. And if that's one thing that carries us through some of the tough times, well, then we'll ride that wave as long as we can.
That's fantastic, Jono. We'll catch up with you guys soon.
Lekker, thanks, JP.
There we go, folks. Jono van der Walt. Yes, False Bay, too much gees. We think that is absolutely fantastic. And the fact that they, of course, are allowed to train again, get guys around on the park, on the field, and do so under these very strict regulations, and that is really fantastic. Is looking to see how the clubs are now connecting to their members, finding all these different creative ways. And if you speak to Jono, he'll tell you about many things that they do off the field to make sure that their members stay connected. This is exactly what we like to see in our club rugby space. And I see people are smiling again, and that's what we want. We want people smiling. And that's the joy that rugby can bring, specifically club rugby. We'll take an ad break. When we come back from the break, we carry on talking about club rugby. Back in a sec. Welcome back, folks. Of course, as you know, we keep talking about club rugby, the various extensions of that. And, of course, as you know, the Under-20 Currie Cup is about to get starting. It's been months of preparation. And, of course, we all know how difficult it's been to get the players and simply just to have rugby action. We're all very grateful to see the DHL sides in action and the Springboks in action. But the Under-20s, it's their turn now. And we've been talking about this for months. On the line with me now, Jerome Parvata, Western Province Rugby Under-20 coach. Jerome, welcome back. How are things there?
No, good, JP, and you're correct in saying that we've been talking about this competition starting for months now, and it's a reality now. Saturday, the competition start. Though we start with a bye, it's just good to know that the competition is starting and we're playing next week.
And the players excited?
Players are very excited. You know how these youngsters are. They just want to play rugby. They will play rugby every day. You can train and you can do whatever training, but they just want to play rugby, which is also good. It's a good sign for me. The guys want to play rugby, so they're very happy that we're about to start.
I mean, Jerome, it's been 18 months of difficulty, considering that it was about a year and a half ago when we were having this conversation that you were busy sending players programs to do at home.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't think, I would say last year, that we will get to the stage where we will play. But yeah, we're fortunate and we're blessed to be played.
Yeah.
And we're also thinking of those people who are not playing, but hopefully soon they'll start to play also.
The preparation itself, though, Jerome, I mean, we know it's been stop, start, but quite a few of the guys that come from the Varsity Cup structures and from the national structure. Has that given you a bit of momentum to get ready?
Yeah, look, we're happy to have that guys back from the SA under 20s. And also, there's only one guy, Andre Guvente. I think he's playing for the seniors, or he's on the bench. So I don't know when we're gonna get him. But the rest of the guys are all back, and we've got club guys, we've got guys who played for the junior box, we've got guys who play under 21 for me last year who's still playing. So yeah, I think we got a great squad, and I'm just glad we can give club guys also an opportunity to join in the squad.
This past week and some of the previous practice sessions has been up against the Western Province Rugby Academy. We went and got some of the highlights from the match. Let's take a look at that, and then you can give us some of your input. Playing against the academy, are you happy with the performance there?
Yeah, JP, and I must say, congrats to the academy boys. It's actually what we want. They actually gave us a tough time, so I must say, congrats to their program. It's definitely working. and they helped us a lot in terms of, otherwise we wouldn't have been able to have game time. Fortunately for the academy guys are also testing, we testing, so we can play against each other. So yeah, I'm just grateful to play. And now yesterday we could actually explain to the guys what we can work on, what to expect, in how we see the game, and also now with their input they can see what we still need to work on. Yeah, so it was a great exercise.
So when you prepare for a game like this, Jerome, is it a question of you telling them in advance what you want to focus on?
Exactly, JP. I wasn't too happy with the first 20 minutes, Chaka, because what we wanted out of that game was to work on our exit strategy in our 22, how we play. But obviously, these youngsters, we encourage them to run with the ball. But for the purpose of the training, that was in our 22, we actually wanted to kick and we want to work on chase lines, in because we're going to need that in the game come Currie Cup time. So I'll say the second chapter was much better because we just explained to them the emphasis, what we want, and also when we're in opposition 22, what we want to play. Are we going to go slow ball? Or we're going to play wide? But the emphasis was a lot on the structure, how we see it, and what we want to do.
So you got 4 days left before you see the first teams playing against each other, and then 10 days to go before you play your first match. What do you guys do now in the next 4 days, and from a training point of view over the next 10 days?
Yeah, for us now, like as I said, for us it's good to see what we could work on after playing against the academy. And also we're fortunate because we will have the Leopards game. Hopefully next week we'll have that game, so we can prepare. We'll have some of their footage because it's the first time that there's under 20 competition, so it's the first time that we will see sort of the under 20s playing. So we'll have a base to plan our training session and to plan the game going ahead. So we're fortunate to have that and start with a break.
Thanks, Jerome. Right, well then, there we go, folks. The under 20 is about to get going, of course, taking a bye this weekend, or at least their first match being a bye. But of course, looking forward to the Currie Cup getting started. Right, folks, well, of course, as you know, you can win yourself a case of Score energy drinks, as well as a set of masks, courtesy of CTC Sports. So if you want to win a case of Score energy drinks, 24 in a case, as well as a set of Cape Rugby TV masks, then all you need to do is go to our Facebook page, where we're currently running the Spot the Logo competition. This past week, we asked you the question, can you spot the logo? The logo was, in fact, silver leaf. And what we do is we modify the logo a little bit, and then we put it out there and see, can you guess the logo? And of course, the responses have been incredible. Looks like everybody loves the Spot the Logo competition. Congratulations then to Calvin Riddles. Calvin, you are the winner of this week's Score Energy Drinks prize. And we'll be reaching out to you on Facebook Messenger to make sure that we get a hold of you so that you can come and collect your prize. So remember then, folks, if you want to win yourself that case of Score energy drinks, as well as a set of Cape Rugby TV masks, then all you need to do is visit our Facebook page. We'll see you after the break. Don't go away. Back in a sec. Welcome back, everybody. It's Cape Rugby TV. We carry on talking about club rugby, and of course, currently there is such a fantastic vibe running through the world of club rugby. The announcement's been made by Western Province Rugby that clubs are allowed to train again. Of course, SA Rugby sent that notification out recently, and Western Province has followed up with guidance to the clubs that they are allowed to train. Of course, we know that this is all happening according to very, very strict health and safety protocols. Faisal Felton's on the line with me from Western Province Rugby. Faisal, welcome back. Can I fairly enough say this is great news for clubs?
Good evening, JP, and good evening, listeners. Yes, it's fantastic news. I think it's good to be back, good to be out there under circumstances. I think, just to be out on the field and to be doing stuff and to be, being active, I think that's a key thing for us. And, it's a step in the right direction. And again, it's the first part of hopefully, the bigger picture in terms of where we want to be and what we want to do. So it's fantastic news.
I love the fact that your clubs are now able to send their players. I mean, you guys sent this message out only yesterday, but I would imagine that minutes after receiving that letter, clubs were jumping on WhatsApp groups and saying, guys, training tomorrow night.
Yeah, no, definitely, Japes. I think, the key thing is the engagement. And I think that's what we also need to understand. Again, it's the small steps. And I think, from a club perspective, and I think what we've learned now in the last year and a half, I think from COVID and COVID compliance, I think the clubs, we've got an understanding. And, the key thing is about being responsible. And I think from a club perspective, it's how we manage it. And I think our clubs, we have done enough education. And I think it's exciting just to be able to be out there. And I think one of the, the positive points here that we need to look at ultimately, we want to play rugby, we want to get out there, we want to be out in the park. But I think just the mere fact of being able to run out on the field and to socialize and to, to the community, having that active environment and that. And I think that for us is more key than and the positive in terms of where we want to be and where we want to go. So it's good just to be out there and training.
Yeah, and of course the guys can be doing fitness training, they can be doing strength training, they can be doing motivational talks, they can be doing functional training. I mean, the list of call it instructor activities, maybe not coaching activities even, but instructor activities is huge. And I would imagine that so many people now again are able to say, I've had a tough day at work, life is miserable, but at least tonight I can go down to the club and have a bit of a workout.
No, 100%, JP. It's that escape, from that normal environment, that mundane week that you've had, and just be able to go out and socialize under that strict sort of protocols and that. I think that's fantastic. And like we said earlier on, I think just the mere fact that we're out there and we're able to do stuff, against what the normal routine is. And I think, that's the responsibility of clubs within their communities, is the understanding of the role and function that you play in that community. And for us, that is the key thing, is, being able to be involved in the community.
And one of the absolute blessings that I suppose rugby has is that you have got an open space. You're on a field where other sports maybe don't have that sort of luxury. The other sports maybe are in a room and are limited to numbers. And of course, in your case, you've got open air, sunshine. There's plenty of ventilation. So it's a great space to be training on.
No, definitely, just to be out, as you said, in the fresh air. Yeah. But I think the one key thing is the clubs understanding the protocols. I think, again, we've had an education process. So I think from a club perspective, I think we are very confident that we can apply, the protocols in terms of what's required and what's needed. And as I said, just having that change in routine is fantastic. And I think we're doing our bit, in terms of whatever's happening around us. I think we're isolating, we're trying to restrict our movement, but just the mere fact and opportunity of, twice a week, 3 times a week, having to go out to the field, having to breathe that fresh air, breathe out in the open, I think that's fantastic news.
Of course, you've got a number of other activities also currently running at the moment. We know that you've got a continuation of the coaching courses where clubs are able to do their level 1 rugby coaching courses. That's coming up shortly. And you've got quite a lot of activity as well in the women's rugby space. I mean, this, of course, building on from the success of the DHL Western Province Rugby Women's Squad, that must be exciting for you guys, is the prospects of the women's rugby.
No, definitely. I think we've learned a lot in the sense of, in terms of, the commitment is there, the discipline is there of the ladies. So I think from our side is we need to filter through and carry through in terms of the success that we've had. We might not have had, the result that we wanted in the final, but I think we can be proud in terms of the ladies as to what, we have achieved up until that build-up. But I think it only gives us, that opportunity now in the off-season to work hard and in terms of focusing on what we need to do. So, I think from the season, you can take back a lot of, points where we need to work on.
Yeah.
But I think the one thing is, is about growing the game. And I think what we need to now, look at now is focusing on in terms of the ladies. It's not season over, pack up, nothing to do. We'll resume again in February. I think the idea is basically now is we're already starting and working towards 2022 in terms of what the plan of action is and how to get the ladies up and running, fit and ready. And I think with COVID, the one positive thing that we've learned is we're using, this time to focus on whether it's the workshops, it's the coaching, it's the interaction that we have with the members. But I think the one focus that we're going to do now in the off season is focusing on the individual and the players, the understanding from the players, the mental focus in terms of the conditioning of their players and mentally preparing the players that they understand the role and function that they play as part of the team environment. So it's more focused now on the individual, getting them doing testing, doing medical screening, and then again, giving them the programs that when we resume again full training in November, they're ready. So we're going to do a lot of workshops. We're going to get a lot more, ladies involved. We're going to try and grow the squad, try and grow, club rugby. So there's a lot of things that is planned and that there. So I'm quite excited. And I think from the officers' side and from Western Province's side, we're confident, we can take women's rugby to another level in terms of where we want to be.
Faisal, of course, that's fantastic. But it's great to see then that you've created these champions in the women's space, and that if you were a woman or a young girl that wanted to start playing rugby, you just needed to look on the TV screen and see what the possibilities are.
100%, JP. I think the key thing is the access that we're going to now be providing. So anybody out there that would like to play, that is keen, like I said, it's not just about playing on the field. Whether you want to take up coaching, you want to take up refereeing, or you just want to be supporting at a club, we are opening the doors and we are welcoming anybody that would like to be a part of, the women's structure, the setup. I think we all got a place to play. And in terms of the, involvement, I think that's the key thing is, that we create that opportunity.
I love the fact that there's a hand-holding process here. And that you guys are facilitating the process. You're not simply saying we're leaving it up to you and it's all your responsibility. I love the fact there's engagements, that you're opening the doors, you're guiding, you're educating, and you're empowering. And I think that's what we like to see in the world of club rugby. So that really it's incredible. But in addition to that, and following on that thread of hand-holding and helping, one of the important things that Western Province Rugby has been talking about and we know that you've been following through on this thread for many years now, but of course, one of the hot topics right now is the Lotto funding application process is open. How important is Lotto funding for club rugby, and what are you guys doing there?
JP, I think in this day and age and time, especially now with COVID, we're finding a lot of businesses and sponsors are focused more in terms of themselves, in terms of funding is a major challenge for clubs. And I think the one avenue that we need to jump on is the Lotto. And I think from Western Province's side, we now focusing in terms of making sure that each and every club, I think the role and the responsibility is from the union side is to ensure that the club. So yes, there is challenges within the the club structures, people, volunteers. So the focus, there's a lot in terms of what needs to happen. So I think what we're trying to do again from Western Province office side now is look at trying to assist and help. So whether it means taking people by the hand, as we said, we need to ensure that we grab this opportunity in terms of getting funding. I think he has an opportunity to at least start form the basis of the club to get kit, equipment, transport, capacity building. So we are going to encourage each and every club, and I think we're also making it a focus point from our side is to make sure that we follow through and ensure that each and every club has applied to the Lotto. So that is going to be the driving point now for us, is to make sure that we take this opportunity each and every club.
No, that's fantastic. I certainly hope that all the clubs apply for Lotto funding. One of the old questions that many clubs have had is, must they be an NPO? And of course the answer to that is no. You fall in under the blanket of of Western Province Rugby. So that's great, Faisal. I think that's fantastic that we see Western Province driving that initiative, because heavens knows sport needs all the money it can get. Faisal, but we will then leave it at that. Congratulations on the return to training. We know that you guys have implemented all the health and safety protocols, and that everybody's got a safety plan, and that now you can put that conversation one side and actually focus on the club's training again, and hopefully they all get onto the park.
No, thank you, JP, and again to the listeners, everybody out there, again, be responsible. And I think together, we can get through this. And I think ultimately, for us, the focus is 2022, where we want to be, hopefully under normal circumstances. But I think ultimately the goal and the drive is basically to ensure that, we're heading in the right direction in terms of what we need to do. So, we're hoping now off season that, we don't sit back. We use this time, again, whether we focused on our workshops, our capacity building in terms of growing the club, but at the same time that we encourage each and every club that there is that interaction with the members, because come 2022 we need to make sure that club rugby is back where it needs to be, and the support is there. We have the members. 2 years without rugby is long, so we need to have some sort of plan of action as to how we're going to get the members back. So I'm confident, our clubs, we've got great support. So I think I'm confident our clubs will, make sure that come 2022, that club rugby is back where it needs to be and it's strong. So yeah, thanks, James.
Thanks, Faisal. And of course, from our side, we can't wait to get the cameras out to the fields to see who's busy sprinting and doing their fitness. Faisal, we'll catch up again soon. Thanks very much.
Thank you, JP.
Thanks, Faisal. Yes, great news that our clubs are able to return to training. We're looking forward to this, and we're of course looking forward to getting back out there and filming you guys as you are training and bringing that to you. Right, folks, that is a wrap from us then this evening. On a final note, we just want to pass on our condolences to the Franschhoek Rugby Club on the passing of their coach, Jaco Stadler. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the friends and family of the Stadler family, as well as the club rugby community of Franschhoek Rugby Football Club, and also to Strand Rugby Football Club, who recently lost their coach, Jermaine Brinkhuis. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the family and friends of Jermaine and the family during this very difficult time. We'll see you again next week. Same time, same place. Bye-bye.